Please welcome to the stage, from CB Insights, Deepa Varadharajan.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Deepa, and I cover AI at CB Insights. It's a very exciting time to be working in artificial intelligence. We are redefining how we interact with machines and how we get things done. And for the first time, we're witnessing automation, not just of physical labor, but also mental labor, in ways which were not even feasible 10 years ago. Organizations in every industry are starting to think about whether they need AI in their products, how to go about integrating it, and what this means for the future of their business. And because of all this interest in recent years, we saw more than 1,100 new companies come up just in the last 2 years to offer AI software as a service to all these big companies. AI startups raised $15.2 billion in 2017 alone, and that was a 141% jump from the previous year. Now, all of these startups are bringing AI to very specific applications, like AI for drug discovery, or cyber defense, or even pest management in agriculture, so narrow applications, as we call it. A lot of this has been made possible because of an approach called deep learning, which you all may have heard of. It was one of the buzziest terms of 2017, but also an incredibly powerful tool. So artificial intelligence is this umbrella term that not only refers to computer algorithms, but psychology, philosophy, and a lot of interdisciplinary subjects. Within that, machine learning specifically refers to algorithms that are able to learn and adapt over time. And a subset of that, and what we're going to be focusing on today, is deep learning, an approach that attempts to mimic how our brain works, the ultimate goal being that systems will be able to learn just like how a child does. Here's an excerpt from a book on deep learning by some of the most pioneering researchers in this field, and they said, deep learning has drawn heavily on our knowledge of the human brain and has seen tremendous growth in popularity and usefulness. Now, two ways in which we process information around us is through vision and language exchange. And these are two areas where deep learning has helped computers get better at, computer vision and natural language processing, which are finding applications not just in any one industry, but every sector, from healthcare to retail to enterprise AI and even fintech and insurance. Specifically in financial services, the potential applications of deep learning to drive efficiency are enormous. Some areas like customer-facing chatbots and virtual assistants are gaining popularity not only in this industry, but generally in others as well. But even going beyond that, deep learning can, for instance, reduce false positives in AML, or even simple things like taking thousands of pages of handwritten documents and converting it accurately to digital files. Of course, some areas of financial services are already heavily automated compared to others, quantitative trading, credit scoring, et cetera. But we're seeing more novel applications that are emerging using deep learning. Startups and big tech companies are using deep learning in innovative ways to drive profits and reduce risk. For example, trading on futures with deep learning. Because image processing results have improved so much with deep learning, it's given us access to this rich data set that we did not have visibility into before. And we're seeing hedge funds and fintech companies partner with startups like Orbital Insights that use deep learning to analyze satellite images and monitor and track oil crop and water inventories in different parts of the world. And they're using this as an alternate data set to drive business decisions. Another area we're seeing this is processing auto claims. There are some very innovative business models that are emerging. So startups are telling drivers, hey, use your smartphone as a dash cam, and in return for sharing that footage, you get an incentive on your insurance premiums. And these startups then use deep learning to analyze the video, not only to understand under what circumstances accidents take place, what the driver behavior is, but they're also working with insurance clients to help process claims. And a big tech company that's doing that here is Ant Financial, which is an Alibaba affiliate. And to quote their chief data scientist, he said, it's a good example of how advances in AI can flip an existing system on its head. And this kind of image processing in recent years has been possible because of deep learning. Another topic on everyone's minds is, of course, anti-money laundering. Unlike other applications, financial crime is a bit of a cat and mouse race when it comes to AI. As your defenses get better with machine learning, so do even criminals have access to the same technology, and so your attacks are going to get more sophisticated. Recently, Danske Bank, one of the largest banks in Denmark, and Google presented a paper at a conference saying exactly that criminals are employing sophisticated machine learning techniques to attack. So it's critical to use sophisticated machine learning techniques to catch fraud. And Danske Bank recently started using Google's TensorFlow to run deep learning models and reduce false positives in parallel with other machine learning architectures they already have in place. But despite all of this activity, traditional financial firms are still falling behind in deep learning research. One way in which we gauge research activity is through patent applications. If you see here in the blue, big tech companies like Apple and Amazon started focusing on neural network research way back in 2012. Google had some very interesting projects going on earlier on. In the orange, you see some of the newer fintech AI startups starting to apply for patents here. A lot of startups also build on existing open source frameworks. But we haven't found, the 2017 data is still coming in, as you can see, but we haven't found any application so far by some of the top financial institutions on Fortune 500. Now, these big tech companies are taking this deep learning research out of the lab and into our daily lives. Amazon's Grab and Go store, the facial recognition feature you use on your iPhone to log in, or even the Google Translate tools that are getting better thanks to deep learning. And this is important because some of them are switching lanes. And we already know that Amazon does this with its lending network. And recently, just this week, they launched another lending network in India using machine learning. China's big tech, on the other hand, is already one step ahead. As you know, Alibaba and Tencent are two of the big tech companies there, and they have made AI a core part of all their product offerings. And they're also two of the biggest players in the mobile payment ecosystem there. Here's an interview published in the MIT Tech Review, Ant Financial, which recently just raised $14 billion. And they say it's secretly an AI company. As we saw before, they use deep learning for accident processing, but also for customer-facing tasks, investments, et cetera. In the interim, we're also seeing that banks are attempting to build their own AI teams internally. As you may be aware, there's an acute shortage of AI talent. And Tencent estimated that there are around 300,000 AI researchers globally, and that's including students studying to be AI researchers. And the demand is in millions. So when you're hiring AI talent, you're not just competing with tech companies, but organizations in other industries who want to build an AI team and can afford to shell out that kind of money. We're already seeing this. Goldman Sachs made a top-level hire from Amazon. JP Morgan Chase made a hire from Carnegie Mellon University and just hired one of their AI professors. In the interim, for firms that are not yet ready to build their teams or invest in R&D, startup partnerships are going to increase adoption of deep learning in financial services. As part of our AI research, we mapped out some of the deep learning startups who have financial clients on our CB Insights framework. So as you can see, so we assess company based on momentum and health, and the companies are pretty scattered across the quadrants, except the first one, which the first quadrant is for companies that are mature and have a lot of funding, and that's something that's hard to combine the AI startup ecosystem, which is still emerging, specifically in deep learning. The entire CUSP framework, as well as a list of other companies, are available to our CB Insights clients. So after the conference, please feel free to reach out to us with any questions. And yeah, that's all I have for you today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the talks this afternoon. Thank you.